This week you guys have homework, and part of the assignment is to code up a tic-tac-toe problem in R. And well, how are the other function writing assignment? How's that part going? Going okay? Sort of? Okay. Well, I'm kind of basing this off of the talk on Piazza, and so far I haven't seen too much. So anyway, I thought I would demo what the tic-tac-toe code might look like when it's when it runs. Okay, so I have it loaded up. I'm not going to let you see the actual code, but you can kind of see the functions that I have written. I've got a check winner function, a computer turn function, display, play, prompt user, and update. Okay, and then triples is just a list. There's 8 triples that constitute a win in the thing, and so when you hit play, this is what it's going to do. It's going to ask how many players do you have, and I'm going to say 1 player, and this is going to be me versus the computer, and so it's going to ask, should the computer play first or second? So you have to enter 1 or 2. So I'm going to say the computer will play second, and this gives me opportunity to play first. And so it displays the tic-tac-toe board as this grid 1 through 9. Okay. Now in the problem description, I think I recommended using NAs for the spots that are unfilled, and that's fine. Just make sure that you are not printing NAs into your tic-tac-toe board. The tic-tac-toe board should look like 1 through 9 with numbers filled, with the spots filled in. So let's say I want to play in the center. I'm going to hit 5 to indicate that I want to play in the center. I hit enter, and it puts me X in the middle right there, 5. Okay. And then the computer comes back and it says O plays 7, and it updates the board with an O right here, okay? And everywhere else is still 1, 2, 3, 4, it has the numbers. And so now it asks me, where do I want to play? So, I don't know, where should I play? Maybe I'll play in 1, position 1, okay? And when I play in position 1, now I am threatening a win here because I've got 1 in the middle, and so the computer naturally will block and play in this spot. Now where I should play is 8, but let's see if the computer works, okay? And so let's say I play a suboptimal move, and I say I'm going to play in 4. The computer should take 8 and win, okay? And so I play 4, it puts me in position 4. Then the computer, it says O plays 8, and it goes O, and it returns O wins. Okay. As you're programming it, I would say worry about computer turn at the very end. Okay, computer turn is probably the hardest part to program, and the way I've divided up the problem is you don't get that many more points for completing computer turn, okay? I mean, if you want full credit, you've got to get computer turn working, but you got to balance things in life, right? And if you find yourself stuck on computer turn and you can't get it to work, that's okay. If you got everything else working, then we're probably okay. So let me just kind of demo just a 2-player game. So we're going to have 2 human players, okay? And basically what's important is that it needs to be able to determine where there's a winner. So X plays in spot 1. I don't know why I'm getting this feedback here. O is going to play in spot 2. We'll say X plays in spot 3. Okay. O plays in 4. X plays in 5. O plays in 6. Okay. And then now when X plays in 7, it's going to say X wins. Okay. So what's important is that you go back and forth, and it does this, okay? Let's say I have 2 human players. It should also check, like if I play X in 1 and O plays in 2, if X says I want to play in spot 2, it should say you're not allowed to go there, okay? So here it returns back and it says, please enter a valid move. If I say I want to play in spot 1, it says you can't do that. And so, so finally when I say I'll go in spot 3, it does, okay? And again, same with O, it will say these are not valid moves because these spots have been taken, okay? And so that's what we have, okay? So every time it prompts you for a move, it should print out the entire board, and then you know, you tell it where it wants to play, and it's going to fill in the this position there, okay? Okay, so if I just run display without anything, it's gonna kind of return back this, but it requires a state. State will be repeat NA 9 times. So display, let me just show you. State looks like just a vector of NAs. If I display state, then we get the blank board. If I update state, and I say I'm going to update position 5 with X, state looks like this now. It's a bunch of NAs with 1 X, and displaying the state will return a board with X filled in, okay? So you're going to, and of course the way we can check to see if something is NA, the function there is.NA, right? So you can tell if something is a missing value by using the command is.NA. And I think that's going to be kind of the key and important thing that you want. Okay. All right. Are there any questions here? On how what the final version of Tic-Tac-Toe should look like? Of course, computer turn should be able to decide. So here, if I do, if I give it computer turn state, whoops. Okay, it just returns back, where it wants to play. And it can kind of decide if, by just looking at the state, okay, if you just look at the state and you just see 1 X played, whose turn is it going to be? So X always goes first, right? So you look at the state like this, or if you look at the board, okay, when you see just 1 spot taken with an X, you know that the next turn is O, right? And then so, if we update the state with O, and state now looks like this, and if I display the state, okay, knowing that X goes first, if you look at the board like this, whose turn is it now? It's X's turn, okay? So, because in the past, students always asked, how does the computer know whether it's playing X or O? If you can figure it out, you can write the program so that the computer can figure it out also, right? It's not, we don't need to keep a separate variable to keep track of who is playing, right? It's clear if you're taking turns that this is how it goes. Okay. All right, is this okay? I hope this is, I think the tic-tac-toe problem, it is challenging, but it's not so in my opinion, it's not so overwhelming that it's impossible, okay? And I want you guys to just do your best and put forth your best, best faith effort. If you can only get a 2-player version working, where you got 2 human players, that's fine. You're not going to get 100%, but you'll get some credit, and that's fine. Something about check winner. The check winner function. The way I've written my check winner function is that you feed it in a state, and it's going to return either the game has not yet finished, so there's no winner, or X has won, or O has won, or the game has ended in a draw. Okay, that's what my check winner function does. So it's not as simple true false. There's four statuses. Either the game has not yet finished, X has won, O has won, or the game ended in a draw. Okay, that's how my check winner function runs, and you don't have to do it exactly that way, but I think it works out quite well if you do it that way. Okay, I'm going to just stop the video here, and you can view this just for reference, and then we'll talk about today's content here.